Welcome back. In this video we're going to look at how we can simplify a proper fraction using something called the greatest common factor, or the GCF. Now, for us to do this, it's important to remember what a factor is, and a factor is two numbers that multiply together and result in a product. So example, 2 times 3 equals 6. 6 is the product, that is the answer to a multiplication problem. The 2 and the 3, they are factors of the number 6. When you multiply these two numbers together, you get the number 6. So 2 and 3 are factors of the number 6. So we're going to look at an example of how we can simplify the fraction 18 over 24. And so to do that, I'm going to identify the numbers for the factors for the number 18, which is our numerator, and the factors for 24, which is our denominator. So I'm going to start with the number 1, and I'm going to count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll just talk about how that means. So 1 times 18 is equal to 18. So 1 and 18 are factors. 2 times 9 equals 18. 3 times 6 is equal to 18. 4, well, we can check and see if it's a factor by skip counting. 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. So we didn't have the number 18 in our list, so 4 is not a factor. 5, again, we can check 5, 10, 15, 20. So 5 is not a factor. And then 6 is a repeat. So we have this number 6 here, so we can stop. Once we get to a number that repeats in our list, then we can stop, and we can then identify the factors, and I've put them in order down here as 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And those are the numbers that multiplied together to give us the number 18. And so these are all factors of the number 18. We're going to do the same process, but this time with the number 24, which is our denominator. So we start with the number 1. 1 times 24 is equal to 24. 2 times 12 is equal to 24. 3 times 8 is equal to 24. 4 times 6 is equal to 24. 5 is not a factor, and we can check that by skip counting. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we didn't have 24 listed, so 5 is not a factor. And then 6 repeats, which we have it here. So we can see that the number 24 has 8 factors, and those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Now this is going to help us identifying and being able to reduce, this proper fraction, smaller numerator, larger denominator, and we're going to do that by choosing the greatest common factor. So what we're looking for is the factor in the list that is in both lists, but is the greatest value. So it both have 1 and 1, both have 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 is not in our factors for 18, 6 and 6. There's no 8 in a factor of 18, there's no 12, and there's no 24. So both numbers, 18 and 24, have common factors of 1, 2, 3, and 6. The greatest common factor is the number 6. And so that is our greatest common factor, and so that will help us to reduce our fraction. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to use the greatest common factor, and we're going to divide the numerator by our GCF and our denominator by the GCF of 6. So 18 divided by 6, if we go backwards on our thing here, 18 divided by 6 would equal 3. So that's going to be 3. And similarly, 24 divided by 6 would equal 4. So our denominator will be 4. So 18 over 24 can be reduced or simplified using the greatest common factor of 6 to be equal to 3/4. And now we have our fraction, our common factor, our proper fraction, in simplified form. So let's take a look at another example. So in this example, we're going to look at the fraction 27 over 81. And in order to do this, we need to list out the factors for the number 27 and the number 81. So let's start with the number 27, and we're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll just start with there. So 1 times 27 equals 27. 2 is not a factor because 27 is an odd number. So 2 would always fit into an even number, but because 27 is odd, we know that it's not a factor. 3 times 9 is equal to 27. Similarly, 4 will not be a factor because, again, it's not an even. 27 is not an even number. 5 is not a factor. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we can double check that by skip counting. Similarly, 6 we could check. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Again, we recognize that 6 is an even number and therefore it's not going to be a factor. We're just going to continue down until we get to a number that repeats. And I'm going to stop at 9 because I know that I have a 9 here. So 9 should be about as far as I have to go. So 7, it's an odd number, so 7, 14, 21, 28. So 7 is not a factor. 8 is an even number, so it shouldn't be, but 8, 16, 24, 32, so it's not a factor. And then 9 repeats, as we mentioned. So it looks like the factors for 27 are 1, 3, 9, and 27. So I'll just write those out. 1, 3, 9, and 27. So now let's take a look at the number 81. Okay. And again, we got 1 times 81 would equal 81. 2 will not be a factor because 81 is an odd number. 3, a way to check if a number is divisible by 3 is to add the digits in your number. So here we would say 8 plus 1 is equal to 9, and we know that 9 is divisible by 3, therefore 81 is divisible by 3. So we know that 3 will be a factor. The question is what will it be? And we can figure that out by doing some division. So what we would want to do is look at 81 divided by 3, and we see that that's actually equal to 27. So 3 times 27 is equal to 81. 4, again, is an even number. 5, a way to easily check is to see that 81 does not end in a 0 or a 5, so 5 will not be a factor. 6 won't be a factor because it's not even. 7, 7 times 10 would be 70, so we can count from there. So 70, 77, 84, so 7 is not a factor. 8, 8 again is an even number, so it shouldn't be a factor. And then 9, 9 times 9 is equal to 81. And we see here that we have our number repeating so that we can now stop. Zoom in a bit here. Okay, so from here we can see that the factors for 81 are 1, 3, 27, 9, and 81. So we have 1, 3, 9, 27, and 81. Okay, so now we're going to look for the greatest common factor. Both have a 1, both have 3, both have 9, and both actually have 27. So our greatest common factor is 27. So to reduce our fraction of 27 over 81, we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by our GCF, and our GCF again is 27. So 27 divided by 27 is equal to 1. Let me scroll up here. and 81 divided by 27. We can see here 81 divided by 27 would equal 3. So our denominator will be 3. If I can get that to fit. And there, now we see that 27 over 81 is equal to 1/3, or 1 over 3. And there, and now we've used the greatest common factor in order to help us simplify a proper fraction. If you look on my website, mrdavis.ca, you will find a PDF file for the factors of all the numbers from 1 to 100 that will help you, so you don't have to go through all of this each time. You can just use that resource to help you identify the factors and then hopefully identify the GCF, or the greatest common factor, for your numerator and your denominator much more easily. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.